Hey, Representative Harrison, Lee Zurich, how are you? Good to see you.
Joe Harrison's job as state lawmaker is considered part-time. In his full-time job, he's a financial planner in Napoleonville. He deals with money and numbers, but after reviewing his campaign and state house records, we question whether his numbers added up.
We sent you a note a month ago and we never heard back from you.
On what?
On some questions we had for you about expenses and some gas receipts and everything.
I don't even remember seeing anything on that.
Here's the read receipt on the email that we sent you. We also sent you a letter.
Harrison didn't respond to our request for an interview about his spending on gas.
You're the only one who didn't answer us, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that it was important on my list.
It wasn't important to answer our questions, but now federal investigators appear to be asking the same ones. The FBI and U.S. Attorney sent the State House this subpoena in July, asking for all reimbursements requested by and payments made to Harrison since 2009.
The federal government is beginning to pay attention to some of the reports that you are presenting.
Our investigation found in 4 years, the House, taxpayers reimbursed Harrison nearly $25,000 for mileage. During that same time period, he paid another $25,000 for gas out of his campaign account.
It's difficult to kind of get a grasp on the amount of money he's spending on gasoline. I mean, he's spending more on gas in that period of time than the average Louisiana citizen earns in a year.
All totaled $50,000 for mileage and gas for one lawmaker. And remember, his job as a lawmaker is part-time.
Between the House and your campaign, you've purchased in the last 4 years over $50,000 of gas.
I got 147 miles of travel.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 parishes.
That's by far more than anyone else in the legislature.
I'd have to look and see what it is. You look at my schedule, it's pretty well documented where I go.
And there's some days where the House would reimburse you for a trip, but then you'd also pay for gas out of your campaign those same days.
I didn't look at this, and I'm being honest with you. I'll talk to my CPA, but it's up to them to do that. I actually sent them to the campaign school that they have in order to understand what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're blaming your CPA?
Oh no, I'm not blaming anybody at this point. I like him.
For comparison, Dee Richard is another state representative from that area. Part of his district touches Harrison's. House records show Richard didn't seek any mileage reimbursement from taxpayers over the past 4 years. Campaign records show Richard didn't spend a penny of that money on gas either. $0 of spending for Richard compared to more than $50,000 for Harrison.
I mean, that's a lot of gas. Over $50,000 in 4 years.
You travel with me and tell me how much travel I do.
How much do you do in
Very
it?
active.
How much?
Well, you can look at the vehicles. I change vehicles at least every 2 years because they always get close to 100,000 miles.
So you're putting in 50,000 miles a year?
Oh, easy.
Okay.
Easy.
And all of that is strictly with your legislature job?
The majority of it, I'd say, is right now.
We did the math a little differently. Take a look at Harrison's House district. If he drove from his office in Gray down to Dulac, over to Morgan City, then to Labadeville, and back to his office in Gray, all in the same day, he'd drive about 123 miles. To total up to 50,000 miles in 1 year, Harrison would have to make that drive 406 times. That's 406 times in 365 days.
Well, let's figure that out by the month. That's about $12,000 a year. So he's spending $1,000 a month on gasoline, is that correct?
For his part-time job?
Yeah. He may live way down in the bayou. And we don't require them to drive Priuses. He may be driving a Mack truck.
We want to know if Harrison is double dipping his gas, paying for gas out of his campaign, but also charging taxpayers for mileage. We found examples like this, where the taxpayers paid for mileage for a trip to Houma, but on the same day his campaign also noted a charge for gas in Houma.
But I'll answer as soon as I get a chance.
Months after that interview, Harrison never responded.
Are you going to get back to us?
Sure.
Okay, good deal.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Harrison did tell us by phone yesterday, as a result of an erroneous news report, I was asked to give some information. I'm fully cooperating, and I trust the process will resolve this matter. Harrison wouldn't say what was erroneous.
The only way you can describe that is abusive. That's just outright abuse, and it's, you know, taking from the taxpayers and taking money from your campaign contributors.